Hello, episode 6 here, and yes, I have a new chair. The other chair was getting a little old and ratty, so I got me a new one. However, I hate this chair, so I got another chair coming. So don't get used to this chair. I know this is a big concern of yours. Oh well. Episode 6 was going to be on presidential corruption, and I'll get to that in a minute, but I wanted to share with you something that happened with me the other day. I had basically a crisis of faith. I had a conversation with someone that completely took the wind out of my sails, and I made this video that night basically talking about how maybe I've done all I can do and we'll just see what happens, and sayonara. What put me over the edge? Well, I was talking to someone about the troops on DC and the troops that are going to be put in place around the country. 19 states are going to have troops put on the streets for no particular reason, and Chicago and I think it was Baltimore are both faced with having troops forcibly put into their states. So I was talking about that, and basically, not in so many words, I was basically told I was doing the tinfoil hat and I was over dramatizing what was going on. And I just realized that we're not changing any opinions here, and I was pretty damn deflated. But I've given it some more thought. I had a little more time. I didn't post it, and I'm thinking that no, we're not changing anybody's minds. And how do we know we're not changing anyone's minds? If people's minds could be changed, they would have been changed by now, because there is just too much going on. There is just too much going on. You can't not see this. So people who aren't seeing this are actively trying not to see it, and if you talk to them about it, you're going to be getting la 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 la. So, case in point, the corruption. It is to the point of comic levels, and when I say comic levels, I mean bad comic levels. I mean, if this were put into a movie trailer, you would not go watch this movie because you would see that it is just too stupid. This would never happen. There are too many safeguards. The people would not stand for it. The Congress would not stand for it. The judicial branch would not stand for it. This is just obscenely stupid, and no one would let it happen. How obscenely stupid? Well, let's see. When Trump was elected, before he even got into office, he created his own Bitcoin, and his son created his own Bitcoin, and Melania created her own Bitcoin. Melania created her own Bitcoin? Sure, why not? The ex-underwear model made her own Bitcoin, and he sold the Bitcoin, and when he became president, he signed executive orders to make Bitcoins more attractive. He did several things to get people to buy more Bitcoins because now he owns a Bitcoin. Now, he didn't personally invest in Bitcoins, he just created a Bitcoin. So how does he make money on this? Well, this is how it works for him. He charges a service charge every time someone buys or sells his Bitcoin. There is a percentage of the transaction that he gets as a service charge. So when he first introduced it, lots of his minions bought into the Bitcoin, and he charged a service charge for each one of those transactions and made a bunch of money off of those transactions. Then a lot of people lost faith in the Bitcoin because, after all, it is just air, and they sold their Bitcoin. And he collected a service charge for each one of those transactions when they were selling it. So, not investing anything really into anything really, he has made literally millions of dollars just on those service charges. Millions and millions of dollars. And then, to make sure those transactions keep going, he advertised that if you buy his Bitcoin, you can have dinner with the president. That is an impeachable offense right there. So he is selling an audience to the presidency. You buy my Bitcoin, the top 20 people who buy his Bitcoin get to have a fancy dinner with him. So he did, they did, it happened. Congress did nothing about it. Corporate executives will meet with Trump at Mar-a-Lago. They have to pay a fee for that visit. They have to pay $1 million+ fee to have a brief meeting with him in Mar-a-Lago. And he just opens up the cash box and just openly charges a ticket amount. Congress is doing nothing about that. Judicial is doing nothing about that. The people are doing next to nothing about that. After he became president in the last 8 months, he has purchased $100 million worth of bonds. Bonds. Why is it important that it's bonds that he has spent $100 million of his own money on? Not doing a blind trust like everyone else does. He is actually investing in the market that he is influencing. So bonds, what happens when, say, interest rates suddenly drop after you bought your bonds? Well, those bonds become really, really valuable to sell. So he's bought $100 million in bonds, and he is pushing Powell to lower interest rates by 3 points. If you suddenly drop 3 points after buying the bonds, those bonds become obscenely expensive, or those bonds become obscenely valuable, and he will make millions and millions and millions of dollars by manipulating the market to favor his personal investments. But of course, it doesn't stop there. He has accepted a free plane from Qatar, and while he was in Qatar picking up his free plane, his sons were signing golf course and hotel deals. Sure. Vietnam, capitulating to the blackmail of tariffs, fast-tracked his resort there. In addition, this is where it becomes beyond comedic, beyond the movie even Idiocracy. He is still selling autographed Bibles. He has created his own cell phone network with gold-colored telephones. He is still selling watches. He is still selling shoes. He is still selling guitars. He has got his own cologne. All of these are just his personal products. These are not trinkets for the campaign. These are direct profit items that he is selling. And of course, there's all the golf events. He flew to Scotland for the grand opening of his golf course there at the taxpayer's expense to stage this whole event so that he can make more money off of his golf course. He is on a golf trip every weekend to one of his resorts where the taxpayers have to pay Secret Service to stay in his facilities that he profits from. Congress is doing nothing about it. The judiciary is doing nothing about it. Nothing's being done about it. Like I say, you could not watch this movie. You would not sit through it because it is just too stupid. It is too implausible. It can't happen. Just a couple days ago, there was a big rumor going around that Trump was dead because he hadn't shown up in public, and he's got bruised hands and his various illnesses and all that. And I know there were people silently hoping and rejoicing. Maybe it's true. Maybe we're saved. No. And I don't just mean because he survived. I mean, no, this is all a necessary thing. I heard one person say that God spared him that assassin's bullet so that he would live to save us. And my response to that is no, that was God giving us free will. We were given a choice of whether or not to vote for this corruption, this degradation, this abomination, and as a country, we went with it. So we were not let off the hook. We are being held accountable. And it's not like America wasn't already becoming a shit show before Trump came along. He's just exploiting it. So I believe that we are at a point of history that is irretractable. This has to happen. This is like the Titanic. When people watch sci-fi movies that have time travel in it, one of the questions is, maybe we should go back and save the Titanic. Maybe we should keep it from sinking. But we can't. Why? Because of all the changes that took place because of the Titanic. Because the Titanic struck an iceberg and took 2 hours and 40 minutes to sink, and yet 1,600 people died all at once. Because that happened, maritime safety laws changed. Think of any other shipwreck that happened throughout history that was that big that would have caused real maritime changes. And there are none. The Titanic was a horrible thing, but because it happened all at once, it saved thousands of people incrementally because of all the laws that got changed. But it had to happen to wake everyone up, to make the changes necessary. And I believe right now this country is the Titanic. We have struck the iceberg, and from this moment on, we're going to have to make a change. And it is my firm belief that in 5 to 10 years, we are not going to recognize this place. Furthermore, history is not going to be kind to us. History is going to look at these events and say, what the hell were those people thinking? This is going to be one of those comic times in history when people look back and say, wow, they were idiots back then. We're so much smarter now. So if I'm right and this is inevitable, what is the plan? What's your plan? What's my plan? Is there a plan? We have 3 options: fight, flight, or submit. Well, flight isn't possible for most Americans. Probably 90% of Americans can't get out of this country, hell or high water. Maybe not 80, maybe not 90. Let's say 80. 80% of Americans can't get out of this country, hell or high water. It's expensive. Other countries aren't going to accept all of us. We don't know the languages. It's very difficult to immigrate. I've been considering it. I've been looking at other countries. I don't want to go. I might still, but at the moment, I really don't want to go. So what does that leave? That leaves fight or submission. Fight. Can I fight? I'm 62 years old. I am fat and I am slow. So in direct combat, I'm cannon fodder. I can catch a bullet that will spare someone else who might do better. A noble death, but damn weak. So maybe I can serve in some other capacity. I can drive heavy equipment. I have media experience. Maybe I can be part of Radio Free America. I can build things. So maybe I would have a function in that way. What would civil war look like in modern America? We don't have any clear territories, so there's going to be just pockets everywhere. And then pockets will get bigger and pockets will take over other pockets. It would be a mess. And then, of course, there's just submission. Sit down, shut up, and let it happen. In World War II, that happened in Germany. That definitely happened in France. People who had little shops, bookshops, and grocery stores, and little businesses of what have you, those all continued. So maybe just live under tyranny and keep your head down and hope nobody turns you in as some sort of subversive. That could be a choice. So, what's your choice? What's my choice? What are we going to do? Don't know. I'm going to figure something out. In one respect, I figure I've already started my battle. I'm here. So why continue these videos if I'm not changing anybody's minds? Well, it helps me not feel so alone. There's 8 or 10 of you out there who watch these videos. At least there's 8 or 10 of you that I can bond with in some way. Hopefully my videos help you feel less alone. And hopefully talking about this gives you some ideas on how to talk to other people who have not made a decision. There are people out there who know something is amiss, they know something is awry, but they can't put their finger on it and they're not sure what's going on around them. Hopefully this will inspire you with information to help them at least understand what's going on. And maybe just through the ballot box we can fix this. Could happen. I would really love it if that's the way it happened. So that's one tool for that. There's a protest tomorrow. Tomorrow is Labor Day. The Labor Day protests are going to be taking place across the country. I'm going to be going to one of them. I don't know which one yet, whichever one has better parking. And then from that, I don't know. I'll make some more videos as I think of them. And hopefully this binds us together in some form or fashion. Keep the faith. I'm saying that both to you and to me. We need to not completely lose hope. We need to strive to make things better. The only way things are going to improve is through participation and action. Things are going to change. Things are absolutely going to change in the next couple of years. But will they change for the better or will they change for the worse? Action is the only thing that's going to make a change for the better. So that's our state. That's where I'm at. That's where you're at. That's where we're at. Here's our world. I'll catch you next time.